It is my distinct pleasure to introduce to you Windsor Law's Class of 2024 Valedictorian, Sarika Navanathan. Sarika embodies Windsor Law's values as a justice-seeking, community-engaged, and people-centered law school. She has selflessly contributed to the vibrancy of our institution and our community, and has, in all of her pursuits, reflected Windsor Law's commitment to excellence. To give just a few examples, Sarika supported the Law and Technology Lab, the Transnational Arts and Entertainment Clinic, and the Migrant Farm Workers Clinic in pursuit of their respective missions. She assumed leadership roles in the Student Law Society. She actively contributed to Windsor Law's Windsor Law's chapter of Pro Bono Canada. She founded the Tamil Students Association and served as its president. And she served as a Windsor Law Social Justice Fellow intern with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, where she participated in high-impact policy development and litigation. Sarika has been recognized for her justice leadership and academic excellence through numerous awards, including, again, to give just a few examples, the Jacques Writing Award at the Windsor Review of Legal and Social Issues, the Student Law Society Award for 2024, the Neil Gold International Social Justice Award for 2024, and the Windsor Law Class of 1982 Leadership Award. Her unparalleled contributions to Windsor Law proved no surprise to those who know her. She came to Windsor Law after completing a commerce degree at the University of Toronto's Rotman School, where she graduated with distinction and also earned several prestigious academic awards. She is fluent in English, French, and Tamil, and regularly volunteers with community-based organizations that advance youth leadership, civic engagement, and social change. And on top of all of that, Sarika is a professional singer. She's been singing since the age of 4, and she's traveled the globe globally and performed before tens of thousands of people. You can follow her on Spotify. For these reasons and others, Sarika was nominated by her peers to give the valedictorian address to the class of 2024, and it is my pleasure and honor to invite Sarika Navanathan to the podium.
Thank you for that very, very kind introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sarika Navanathan, and it is my honor to be the valedictorian for the Windsor Law Class of 2024. To start, I'd like to reflect on the land acknowledgement that's been given at the outset of the ceremony, and a land acknowledgement that many of us have heard time and time again throughout our time at Windsor Law. For most of us who are graduating here, the Indigenous Legal Orders course was our very first collective learning experience at the very start of our program in first year. We're privileged to have Indigenous scholars at this institution who laid the foundation for us to learn about how Canadian law has been used as a tool of violence to dispossess Indigenous people of their lands, their cultures, their communities, and so much more. In ILO, we also learned about the many powerful forms of Indigenous resistance against this violence, and the means through which communities have sought to heal and rebuild in the face of continued oppression. For many students like me, Our motivations to study law in the first place stem from similar stories of colonialism, struggle, and violence in our own homelands. As a Tamil woman in Canada, I have the privilege to graduate and study safely, but that privilege has been denied to Tamil students in my parents' and my family's homeland of Sri Lanka. For decades, students have had their historic Tamil archives and sources destroyed, and students have been arrested, hurt, and killed by Sri Lankan forces for taking a stand against ethnic violence and injustice. Students are still arrested in Sri Lanka for commemorating Tamil genocide. And despite the end of an armed conflict, the colonization and appropriation of Tamil homelands continues to date. Similar patterns of colonial violence reverberate in Palestine. This year, instead of attending school and graduating alongside us, students in Gaza have been subjected to egregious violence, an unjust escalation to a 76-year-long occupation. As of January 2024, all post-secondary institutes in Gaza have been destroyed. Israeli forces have killed over 25,000 Palestinians through targeted attacks on schools, hospitals, and refugee camps, and other safe zones, with thousands more unaccounted for. Palestinian history and knowledge have also been systemically targeted through the killing of scholars, much like us, and the destruction of libraries, archives, and heritage sites. Our peers at the University of Windsor and our peers at universities, hundreds of universities across the world, have taken a principled stance against the complicity and the silence of our public institutions, and against the use of their tuition and tax money to enable a genocide against Palestinians. I bring these stories up today to emphasize that land acknowledgements cannot be empty words that relegate colonial violence to the past. To meaningfully contend with the impacts of settler colonialism in Canada, we must develop a global awareness of the systems that oppress, occupy, and destroy peoples and lands all across the world. Our Indigenous Legal Orders course and the scholars and the community leaders that we learned from in first year taught us how to recognize these patterns of violence. And more importantly, they instilled in us a duty to be brave and steadfast in standing against injustice. So friends, as we strive to make sense of the world around us, let us remember that from Wawiatanong to Gaza, none of us are free until all of us are free. It is now my honor and pleasure to welcome you all, this amazing booming room, to the Faculty of Law's convocation today for the class of 2024. Thank you all for joining us today for this momentous occasion. I extend a very special welcome to all of our loved ones, everyone sitting here today, those who are at home watching online, and our loved ones who couldn't be here with us today to celebrate. My classmates and I are so grateful to have had you by our sides as we navigated all of the many life experiences that brought us to this point today. We appreciate all your support, your patience, and your encouragement in the past 3 years, and we hold you close as we celebrate today. Now, turning to my amazing classmates, I'm gonna ask you to give it up for yourself because we did it, we made it. This has been a long time coming for us, and every year of school really has been completely unique for us, right? We had a hybrid first year where so many of us barely met each other and we were taking our classes online. We spent our second year running all the way across our campus, trying to find our classrooms, maybe not even running into each other over the course of that. And finally, we had a third year all together in our beautiful building. But each year, we adapted and we found new ways to connect and build community, and we pushed each other to grow and succeed at everything that we did. I am eternally grateful for what we have all learned from each other during these past 3 years. As I look out to all of you, I see skilled advocates, I see practitioners, I see academics, I see community leaders, and I see innovators who already have so many amazing achievements under your belt. I will always fondly remember the engaging conversations that I've had with all of you, both inside and outside of the classroom. And this community could not have been shaped without every single one of you bringing your authentic self to school every day and being willing to share, challenge, and encourage one another. It really warms my heart to have had you as classmates, and I look forward to having you as lifelong friends. The Windsor Law community, of course, it extends well beyond us. I warmly thank our administrative and support staff, our faculty, our janitors and our maintenance workers, our librarians, our technology support workers, our caterers, and every single other individual whose labor in some way contributed to the amazing community that we had. You took really, really good care of us in the past 3 years, and the work that you do has not gone unnoticed by us students. And we're so, so grateful for everything you've done to make this such a welcoming experience for us in the last 3 years. As we celebrate today and we enjoy this moment and we enjoy everything that brought us to this moment, it's also thrilling to think about what the future holds for us. As Windsor Law graduates, what will it mean for us to enter the legal profession? We've spent the past 3 years receiving an education rooted in our school's values. For those of you that might not remember that from when you applied to law school in 2020, those values are being people-centered, community engaged, dynamic, justice-seeking, and inclusive. Not only have we honed our practical skills through our courses, our clinics, our moots, our extracurriculars, and the millions of other things that I know everyone has done in this room, we've also developed critical perspectives of the law. Every single one of us, regardless of our different practice areas or the type of work that we're going to do, we've gone above and beyond in our time so far to question the systems around us and identify the critical gaps that continue to exist in our field. We have an acute understanding of the systemic issues faced by our communities, and we understand the anti-Black and anti-Indigenous racism that are still at the core of our legal and political institutions. In 2024, we're still contending with rhetoric and policies that target the most marginalized individuals in our communities on the basis of their race, their gender, their sexuality, their socioeconomic standing, and so much more. And these challenges have a marked impact not only on our profession, but on people well beyond our profession. So as empathetic, thoughtful, and rigorous advocates, as I know all of you to be, we know how imperative it will be in our work to make this profession better for everyone who's involved, from our peers to our clients to every individual that's going to be impacted by the decisions that we make on a day-to-day basis. The amazing Toni Morrison once told her students, "When you get these jobs that you've been so brilliantly trained for, just remember that your real job is that if you are free, you need to free somebody else. If you have some power, then your job is to empower somebody else." As I look to you all, and I consider the impactful work that so many of you have already done, I have no doubt that these words resonate with you as well. I'll conclude my remarks today with a reminder of the responsibilities that we owe to the land that we're on and to one another. Our individual successes have the potential to enrich both the legal profession, but also the community around us. Regardless of your expertise, your field of work, or where you're going to be working in the future, every single one of you is graduating today with the skills and the ability to thrive and have a positive impact on the community around you. And I'm so eager to see what that will look like in practice. With that, I extend a warm thanks again to the community that supported us in our journey so far. And I speak for all of my classmates when I say that none of our accomplishments would have been possible without your unwavering support. Class of 2024, I'm so proud to share this day and this graduation with you. And I'm looking forward to our future accomplishments as lawyers, as real lawyers, no longer law students. It has been my honor to call you my classmates, and I'm so proud to call you my colleagues, my co-counsel, and my friends going forward. Here's to you. Congratulations, class of 2024.